Welcome to the Campfire Series podcast. I am your host, Logan Soforenko. We have a very special guest joining us today for our theater podcast. She is Broadway's newest Jasmine. Please welcome Marina Pires.
Hi, I'm Marina Pires, and thank you so much for having me on, Logan. I was about to start playing Jasmine in Aladdin on Broadway, but right now I'm the current Jasmine in Aladdin on Broadway while we pause, and anxiously awaiting for the day to come where we get to be back in action and live our lives on stage again. But until then, I'm making a lot of music with my band, the Heartstrings Project, and we have an album coming out that we just finished mastering. So we're very, very excited about that.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. How did you get cast in Aladdin? I know that it's been on Broadway for a good amount of time now, and they've had for their principals, they've had the same actors for a good amount of time, and then they bring new ones in. This is really, you're really like the third or fourth long-term Jasmine, I guess. How did you get cast in it?
Well, it was a strange and wonderful whirlwind. They needed an immediate replacement for Ariel Jacobs, and who's a lovely person and a really awesome friend of mine. And she recommended to Aaron, the lovely gent that saw me in all of my auditions right before my final. And it was really like a series of three auditions and then a final callback. Maybe like an audition, a work session, another audition, and then a final callback if we want to get really nitpicky. But it was a really quick process. It was like a week of really intense focus. And I think they just needed somebody who could do the job they needed to know that somebody could do it. And I think my swing brain turned on and was like, okay, this is what we're doing. And I'm just so thrilled to get to play such a role that's so iconic and so well known and well loved. And to get to do it after Courtney and Ariel, who are like just stars. I love them so much.
Did Ariel actually have a say in who she got to choose?
I'm sorry. I said that I think she suggested it because I think they really value they'd kind of seen a lot of people, and I think they valued Ariel's opinion since she's awesome. But no, she had nothing to do with the casting process. I think that was just sort of her being like, hey, I know someone really wonderful who would be a great part of this company. So I didn't mean to say that she had anything to do with the casting. But it's funny. This business is so wonderful because it's all about working. You end up working with your friends, and like that's when you're the luckiest, when you can work in a company full of awesome people and people you've worked with before, people you make these friends and you see them every day and they become your family. So I'm really grateful that we have that connection, because I love Ariel. We did a show together in Miami called Into the Woods. So that was the connection I had with Ariel. She's lovely. She's so talented and so beautiful.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this your Broadway debut?
It is. Excuse me. Yeah. This is my Broadway debut. It doesn't even feel real. Like the one thing that could have postponed my Broadway debut is a global pandemic. That still is like taking time to sink in, but I'm so excited for when it's safe again to do the thing we love. And I keep looking forward to that day. And I keep getting super excited about what that opening night is going to be like, and what the community is going to feel like when that's possible again. So, yeah.
Have you obviously, I would assume you've seen the show as an audience member. How many times have you seen the show? Like once or twice, a couple, 10? Like what's it been?
Man, okay. Well, in rehearsal, I saw it just about like 20 times, just seeing, just I get as a former swing on the On Your Feet tour. I got so much from watching the show as a whole and seeing where I fit in the different puzzle pieces, that I think, like starting a show with a cast is such a blessing, but when you're thrown into a show and you're one piece of the puzzle, it's so much easier to see for me personally when you can see the entire show. So I will that was one of my methods to kind of getting the show in my body, was to watch it every night and see everybody in the show. So I watched maybe probably like 20 times. Is how many times I've seen it. But I didn't actually see it until I was in it, which is crazy to me. Um, but it's the first time I saw it was so magical. I was like, I can't believe that I get to do this now. Um, I was just so blown away by how fresh everything was, and how you I think we sort of like become complacent to how magical Disney is because we take it for granted, but like they really do put on such beautiful spectacles, and they're so heartfelt. And yeah, it was just magic.
I find it I find it cool that, especially working for like for actors and actresses who work for Disney theatricals. When we saw Aladdin, I told my mom not to ask about the carpet, and she is like, "How did?" She asked Adam Jacobs. She's like, "How did the carpet fly?" I'm like, "Did you really just ask that? You think he's gonna answer?" But yeah, like you said, Disney theatricals, they just put on such awesome shows. Do you think that there is kind of a different standard working for Disney rather than just any other theatrical production? Like, is there like a difference working for Disney?
um, I wouldn't say that that it's better or worse, but I would just say that it is different. I think they're a company that values, um, you know, the full picture and the full company. They value uh, the team and every single part of the puzzle. They're very involved in making sure their casts are diverse, and not just diverse for the sake of being diverse, but really making sure that the stories that are being told are being told by the right people. And yeah, and making sure that the stories that are being told are the stories of the people being told. So I just really appreciate them for being, I think, on the cutting edge of representation, especially Disney theatrical. And I think just it goes to show how much how much a company with such a huge name and so much respect in the industry can be really kind, and like just some of the nicest people I've worked with. Um, the Aladdin, the New Amsterdam is the Disney theatrical office. Like the Amsterdam is in the building. So every day I would see people from the office, just the kindest office. I never once felt like I wasn't welcome. I never felt like I was, the new kid, or like I needed to try really hard to fit in. Everyone was so warm and wonderful and inviting. So I think that speaks volumes to the integrity of a company.
You mentioned the New Amsterdam Theater, that being kind of on like the kind of the edge on Broadway. I think it's on 42nd Street, or very very like in a cool spot, right across the street from the Lyric and next to a Sephora. Like, what is the location of the theater mean to you? Like, are you excited, like when you go back, when everything's safe and you go back to the New Am? What's that going to feel like?
I have a video that I sent to my mom, I think, and my dad, I'm pretty sure, just like freaking out in front of the New Amsterdam the week before I started rehearsal, because it really is like such an iconic place in the world, in the world, in our world. Um, as a little kid, I grew up dreaming about the intersection at 42nd Street and Broadway. So it's like surreal. It was surreal for me, just walking by the theater, going to work every day, and just being so grateful that that this iconic show, this iconic intersection, um, that I get to do that. And I'm, we goodness knows how long it'll be postponed, how long we'll have to defer this dream, but it's gonna happen because it's still like performance is still so alive, and everybody I've talked to online, like all of the new people I'm meeting, the community is still active. The community is still there. And that's the best part about what we do are the people in our community, and the people we're able to reach in that community. So man, that location, it's like the crossroads of the world, so many people from all over the world. And sitting in that audience, watching that show every night, I would see people, I would hear so many different languages and so many different accents. But, with every like bit of comedy, there was so much laughter and happiness. And that's universal. That's something about New York and New York theater and Broadway that is just true, that I miss so much.
You mentioned how strong the theater community really is during times like these, and not only just with the pandemic, but with all this stuff happening in society right now. I think that learning from everybody is very crucial, and it's very encouraging to see this strong community that already is strong grow stronger. So then when we come back, and you know, God knows when, we're gonna be like ready. And, you see people doing tour jetés and pirouettes in Times Square. You know what I mean? But you before last thing I'll ask you about casting, and we'll move on to kind of like the work ethic of what you're gonna do and stuff. What was your reaction? Like, did you get a call saying you got the part, or did you like leave the casting office and be like, and they said, we had a question for you. Can you play Jasmine on Broadway? Like, what was that reaction?
Yeah, I got a call. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I
Oh,
got a
oh.
call. I was in bed and I had just finished a meditation, and I was actually like letting it go because it was making me so anxious that I just didn't want to think about it anymore, when it gets to be a little bit too much. So it was, I think my final callback was on a Friday. It was toward the end of the week. So obviously I was waiting until Monday. And I'm pretty sure that it was Saturday or Sunday morning, I got a call from my manager saying, hey, like, it's not, like, I can't officially say that you have the part, but you have the part. And so that was a beautiful moment for me of just being able to let it go and release it. So I didn't, sign any of the paperwork until Monday, but it was just like a moment of just total release and gratitude. And I immediately got on the phone with my mom and called my family. And yeah, it was just such a special moment of gratitude. I was ready to like let it go. I kid you not, Logan. I was like, I just can't think about it anymore. I need my brain to be clear again. So they say that's when it happens, though. They say that's when you get good news, is when you let it go. But yeah.
I think of it this way, or when you get cast, does so being Princess Jasmine, you're gonna have a lot of young kids and young girls, and that are gonna dress up, and they're gonna look at you, and they're gonna see you in the costume on the carpet with Aladdin, and they're just gonna be like, I want to be her, and not just like the act, like you as the actress, but like you as the character. Does that ever cross your mind? And also with that, how do you like prepare for that kind of exposure that you're gonna get to this community and this side of Disney like princesses?
Yeah, it's an honor, and it's a huge responsibility that I'm sure I can't even comprehend yet, because I haven't performed on stage yet with as this character. But it's something. It's kids and education. Childhood education is a super passion of mine. I'm actually working on a kids program that we were going to launch in New York City, before this all went down. So I play songs for kids with my boyfriend Luke, who's also my partner in the band, and we do a program called Heartstrings Kids. And I'm just so excited to get to merge those passions of sharing music with kids and performance. I'm so excited to get to merge those two worlds and to sort of integrate what I love doing and what I have done since I was a kid, to get to see that in their eyes and to get to meet them at the stage door after the show. I'm just so thrilled because I know as a kid it's always been my dream to do this, and as a kid I had so much so much love for Disney princesses and so much reverence for the Disney family because I grew up in South Florida. So I went to Disney World like every year for every birthday, for every, but it's funny because it was never something that was totally in the front of my mind that now is so present. But yeah, I can't wait. It does cross my mind sometimes, and I don't know that I exactly know what the weight of that is yet because I don't have that full responsibility yet. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited to meet so many young minds and hear from them what they love, and some of them it's their first time to New York, or just to hear their experiences. I think kids are magic, which is why they gravitate towards Disney stuff so much. They're so intuitive and bright, and they know much more than adults do in a lot of ways. So
You had the experience of kind of performing 8 times a week. So, what is the? I guess you can't really give me a full answer right now because we're in quarantine. But what are some tools that you're going to use from that experience of performing 8 times a week to now being a principal and, I guess, the leading woman in a Broadway production as opposed to a swing on a national tour?
yes. That's a great question. I actually have to thank On Your Feet so much for all the experience I gained on tour. I think being a swing is something that not a lot of people understand until you're in that position. And it was the best thing I could have ever had happen to me. I'm so grateful for that experience, because it taught me how to compartmentalize things in my mind to learn them more efficiently, and also to switch back and forth from, if you're doing 2 tracks a night, there were nights where we would have to do a split track, or we were doing 2.5 tracks or something, depending on how many people were out of the show. We were just adjusting. That it's such a beautiful skill to have under such intense pressure. And I also got to go on for Gloria quite a bit on tour, which I'm very thankful for. I was actually not the understudy. I was the swing understudy. But instead of Claudia, who was the understudy, going on every time Chrissy, who played our Gloria, Chrissy Prades, every time she was out, we would switch off. So every other weekend I got to go on, which was absolutely incredible for my growth. Because to get to play to 4,000 seat theaters is, something I hadn't done before. And I think it just gives you, it definitely gave me more of an edge in my work, and more of an understanding of what it's like to play to a house that big and to sort of, drive a show. But I think I'm pretty lucky in Aladdin because it's not really about me. I just add to the story. It's awesome that I get to, be in the show and add so much to the show. But it's really about Genie and Aladdin and their love and their friendship. And so I'm just happy that I get to support that storyline, and yeah, and just have an awesome time. And like, Gloria was such a crazy role sometimes that I'm like, how did I do 35 costume changes, like out of 20, like I don't even know. We had some costume changes that were like 35 seconds behind a screen, and then you did it, or like 20 seconds behind a screen, and then the screen would open and you'd have to like walk out completely, wig change, like change your complete outfit, basically shoes, changing pants, like craziness. So I think after I did that, I feel like I can do anything. It was a crazy mess sometimes, but it was amazing. It was a great experience. I learned so much.
You said you're looking forward to supporting the story of Genie and Aladdin. One of my role models in Broadway, for the past like 5 or 6 years has been Michael Scott, and he's playing Genie. And not only just him, you have a couple of the original Broadway cast members still in the show, as well as Jonathan Freeman, who was also the voice in the original animated movie in the 90s. So like, what's the mindset of coming into playing with this amazing cast?
Just gratitude. I can't wait to learn. I was nerding out like crazy when I was like, Jonathan Freeman, like I met him in the elevator day one. I was like, oh hi, you're like, it's amazing, so good to meet you. um so I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful that I get to learn from these giants in the industry, and that this is my debut. Like how I'm just a kid. I'm like super stoked to be walking alongside them and getting to learn from them, because oh my god, Michael Scott, his that gift is beautiful every single night. And honestly, can I just say the ensemble
Mm-hmm.
is so beautiful. And that ensemble has, vacation swings that pop in and out, and just incredible people. The entire ensemble is so alive, and you would not think that the show opened, you know, when it opened. You'd think it opened last year, 6 months ago. They're so clean and they're so alive. And yeah, it's so good. And that, I think, brings the quality of the show up so much. So not only you have like Jonathan Freeman, these stars, these brilliant people, but you have this ensemble like keeping the show moving, and bringing it so much life. So I'm thrilled.
When it comes to talking about the ensemble, that's the brilliance of the director choreographer Casey Nicholaw. Way back then, what was it like meeting? Did you meet him in casting, and also what was it like meeting him, considering all the shows and brilliant work that he's done as a director, not just a director, but a director choreographer?
Yeah, he's just a multi-talented individual, and such a sweet man. I actually saw him the day before I was in a final callback for another show that he was involved in, and then the day after I saw him in the final callback for Aladdin, and I was like, "Hey, we keep meeting like this. This is really inappropriate. We should like get coffee or something. Like we keep it's the second time seeing you this week." And he said at the end of the audition, well, I hope to see you again. And that that gave me so much joy and so much hope for what was ahead. But anyway, um, Casey, I got to meet him, that final callback, and just the little adjustments he made, you could see like his craftsmanship as a director. Um, and man, and in learning the choreography, I got to, not from him, but from Ariel Reed, who's actually a brilliant lady who I still was in the process of learning everyone's titles and exactly what everyone did, but I know she was a dance captain at one point. I'm pretty sure she's an associate now. But she taught me all the choreography, and I was like, oh my God, Casey, what do you do? We were like, I was damning him with every step and everything. I was like, how do I do this? Which way do I look? Everything is so precise and so like crafted to be so perfect and look a certain way. So that attention to detail is something I admire in him, like, tremendously.
What was the? I don't really know how long the rehearsal process was. I don't know if it got cut off by COVID or what was the rehearsal process you had like the before everything shut down.
It was a pretty short and sweet process. So um, I was in rehearsal, and my final, you know, we were running lines and running scenes and everything, blocking, um, right before my tech day, where I got to do all the magic carpet stuff. So I still have not done any of the magic carpet stuff, um, but the day Broadway shut down was the day I took my press photos. And so I would say 2 weeks. I had been in rehearsal for 2 weeks, and then I had another week to go. Um, yeah, it was just that tech day. And then I had my put in, I think that Friday. When did we? I can't remember exactly the days. It feels like it was years ago, but yeah,
March
I
12th,
had
I believe it was.
March 12th, and then I think that was a Thursday. And then I was supposed to have my put in on Friday. I'm pretty sure. So, these things do happen, but yeah, I was that close to performing. So it was like a week away from my debut.
Well, before we wrap up, is there any advice you want to give to young actors? I'm currently a college student, so some college kids or high school kids in the arts right now, and especially in times like these, how especially with like the way the world's going to change in theater with self tapes and a lot less flying to New York for people that are across the country, and there's you know what I mean, like that kind of stuff. So what's some advice you can give to those actors and actresses?
Man, I think my only piece of advice would be to keep innovating and to be part of that change, because there's so much room right now for us all to be visionaries together. um, we can we can all help to craft this new vision of what theater will be, and I think that's really powerful if we go about it the right way, because nobody really knows what the answers are. Nobody really knows how this is gonna affect us. I guess I can't say in the end, but when this settles down and we're in that new normal, like you said. um, but we can be aggressive in our bringing our communities together, and making sure that we are there for each other in any ways that we need, and to stay creative in our own projects, stay motivated, and really believe that this isn't the end of theater. It might be the end of theater as we know it, but I think the most important part of theater is the exchange between the the creative and the audience, this giving and receiving energy. And that is something that has not been taken away by COVID and can't be taken away. So I think I think it's just the more creative we can be, the more we can come together, even though we can't physically be together right now. The more we can keep innovating and coming up with good ideas on how to make things more efficient and how to make things more equal in our workplaces, and not make people feel like they are outcasts or other. Then I think we're headed in the right direction, and I think that's the best we can do right now, and I think it's pretty good.
Don't think that could have been said any better. But but thank you so much for coming on the show. Uh, fortunately, for a graduation gift, I got a trip to New York when everything's safe. So I'm looking forward to coming down and seeing Aladdin.
Oh my
Uh,
God, gosh, please, I would love to see you and meet you. Come to the stage door. Come, we'll chat after. We'll do another one of these about something lighter, more lighthearted.
Hopeful that is the goal. But stay safe. You said it. Keep innovating, and just I guess stay patient, but like also anxious, like for when this does come down. Like you get to lead the thought, like you're gonna be you're gonna be Jasmine on Broadway. Like that's gonna be cool.
Thank you, Logan. I appreciate that so much. Congratulations on your graduation. That is a huge accomplishment, especially at this time right now. You're the first class to ever do this. So you deserve mega applause and mega pats on the back. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that day too. I can't wait to tell you all about what the rehearsal process will be like when we come back. So
well, I really appreciate that support. And hey, when this is all over, maybe we'll do a follow-up episode and talk about your stories when you're actually in the show and in the run.
absolutely.
Well, it was nice meeting you. I'll keep you updated. It should be up in we're 2 weeks, so I'll let you know when it goes up.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
See you. Stay
Bye-bye.
safe.
You as well.
Bye.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Follow us on Instagram at Campfire Series Podcast for awesome updates and just a good time. We'll see you next week. I'm Logan Soforenko, signing off.